welcome back to the Wildlife Garden Project. Today we are going to be doing some pond dipping. I have with me here David Goddard. He's the county recorder for the British Dragonfly Society. Hello David.
Good morning, Laura.
Good morning. So why are we pond dipping today?
Pond dipping gives us a way of finding out the invertebrates we have within our ponds. The Environment Agency used this method to determine pollution incidents, how good the river is, but besides that, it's a way of us finding out about what's actually living in our water bodies. There's approximately 3,500 species of invertebrate living in water bodies. You won't have all of them in a garden pond because some are very much a northern species, some are a southern species, but I'm expecting around sort of 2,000 different species to be recorded in an average garden pond.
Wow, that many, that's brilliant. Hopefully we'll see a few of
those. A few of those, hopefully today.
Yes, okay. So tell me, what sort of things can we expect to see?
Well, hopefully we'll have a great range of species, anything from sort of little water hog lice and daphnia and cyclops through tadpoles and snails, all the way through up to maybe dragonfly larvae, sort of the true predators. You may even find newts in your pond as well.
So what kind of equipment do we need to go pond dipping?
The first thing you really need is a net. You can use a little child's net such as this, all the way through up to one of these professional nets, which is the sort of thing I use. And the idea is you're sweeping through the vegetation, disturbing some of the sediment at the bottom and trying to sample the different areas of a pond, because there will be invertebrates associated with particular areas.
Right, okay.
They won't all be distributed evenly throughout a pond.
So once we've got the creatures hopefully in our nets, how do we look at them?
The first thing is aquatic invertebrates. You want a big tray. Put some water in and then carefully tip your invertebrates in to the tray from the net, and then carefully just sort through. And I've got some Petri dishes here, so you might want to put one or two of the smaller invertebrates into Petri dishes, have a bit of white card or paper below those, and then use some of the hand lenses to actually have a look at them.
So how do we go about identifying the creatures?
The British Dragonfly Society produced two books, one for dragonflies, true dragonflies, one for damselflies. These are all colour and give you all the key features and things to look for. Probably the best place to start looking is the Field Studies Council. Produced a nice glossy sheet. It's quite a simple sort of key.
Yeah.
Then when we got to get a little more detailed, we'd go to the freshwater invertebrates key, also produced by the Field Studies Council. We've got a tray to put them in, but we need to put some water in first. So if I just get some water. What can you see in there? There's some good pond snails. You can just see him starting to come out of his actual shell here. There's a long wireworm. He's quite long and sinuous, as you can see, and he squirms through the detritus at the bottom of the pond. Just over here, look, is a water boatman, but at this time of year they're quite small. They do get about 2 or 3 times larger. And he looks as though he's got 2 of his 6 legs actually out, and he uses them to scull, which is why he's called a water boatman. Can you see this little creature here? He's a water hog louse. Oh, there he goes, hiding in the vegetation as he would do normally in the pond. Can you see attached to this leaf here, we've got an egg case that's possibly snail eggs. Can you see the dark dots? They'll actually be the eggs within a gelatine-like substance. Oh, you've got a dragonfly larvae. He's not quite fully grown, so I imagine that he's maybe got this year or possibly into next year before he emerges as a dragonfly. On the back, you can see the wing buds where the wings will be. He's got 2 large eyes, which makes him a really good predator. But he eats most of the other creatures that are in here.
So how old do you think this one is?
That's probably 2 years old at least. So these take about 3 years to actually grow in a pond
So
before they
next year.
then emerge as a true dragonfly.
Okay.
They'll only have a lifespan of a dragonfly for about 4 or 5 weeks.
Right.
So most of the life they're spent in the pond here, away from predators basically.
Ah, so we only see a tiny, tiny fraction
We
of their
see a
life.
very small bit of it
We
really.
see them when they're elderly.
Yes.
Almost, right, okay.
Can you see the end of his abdomen? He's got some little spines on the end of his abdomen. And that's the entrance to his rectum. And he has a hollow rectum and gills on the inside. Now to escape, he can compress his abdomen very, very quickly, and all that water that's inside there he shoots out. It's like jet propulsion. Over here, I have just seen a damselfly larvae. They have gills on the end of their abdomen that look like fish with their tails. So you can see 3 gills on the end here. And they're a lot smaller and thinner and pencil shaped. This one, the wing buds are on the back here. They do look as though they're fully grown, so I imagine this one will be emerging this year, and it's something like a common blue damselfly, blue-tailed or an azure. Look, the large true dragonfly has detected some movement over here, so he's come to investigate. He's using those jet propulsions. You can see the little water squirts. There you go. All of a sudden there'll be a little water shoot out behind him. I'm going to put some water into the petri dish so that the animals we scoop out have got something to swim into. If you want to see closer, you can use a hand lens and then you can have a look and see even closer.
Okay.
So does it have legs?
Yes.
So we follow the yes. Does it have jointed legs? A jointed leg has a knee and an ankle and things like that. Can you see his legs bending at the joints?
No.
Oh, I think he does.
So what could you recommend for people if they want to encourage more wildlife into their pond? What can they be doing?
First thing is, if they haven't got a pond, dig a pond.
Dig a pond.
And you'll be surprised how much wildlife that does encourage into your garden. In this garden we've got a pile of logs, we have a pile of stones. Those actually create good habitats for the amphibians and reptiles because they don't just lay their eggs and then stay in the pond. So you have all your frogs spawn, the frogs then disappear. They're in your garden eating all the slugs and snails that they would eat normally, but then they hibernate under log piles and under stone piles in your garden and then come back the next spring to mate and breed again. So the pond is only part of their life cycle.
What would you recommend for somebody who had either a very small garden or somebody that rents, for example, who can't undergo sort of major work in their garden?
An alternative idea to that is get a plastic dustbin lid and then sink that into the ground so that the ground level is just level with the top. Make sure it's level, of course, so that the water stays in. You'll get some invertebrates, but you won't get a lot of invertebrates, and you may not get frogs and toads and things like that.
But so no excuses basically, even
Oh,
if
no,
you've got
no
no,
excuses.
a small garden, you can still do a little
Yeah,
bit.
certainly.
Yeah. So thank you so much for today, David. You've been a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you. Okay, so if you do want to have a go at pond dipping, there's nothing to stop you at all. Get one of these books, get one of these guides, get a net and get a little ice cream tub or something like that to have a look at. And you never know what you might find, so have fun.